nobis Domine misericordiam tuam.
Et salutarem nobis.
Domine saudi orationem meam.
Et laudem sancte Dei.
Dominus vobiscum.
Et cum spiritu tuo.
Oremus. Exaudimus Dominus ande Pater, omnipotens etere Deus, emitere digneris sanum angelum tuum de celis, qui custodia fovea protegat, visiderat per defender omnes habitantes, in hoc habitaculo, per Christum Dominum nostrum. In nomine Patris et Filii Spiritus Sancti. In Enjoyable authority. Gloria in excelsis Deo.
Et in terra sorribus, dolem voluntatis,
Latamus te,
benedicimus te,
adoramus te,
glorificamus te,
gratias agimus tibi, gratia magnam gloriam tuam.
Domine Deus Rex celestis, Deus Pater omnipotens,
Domine Filii unigenite,
Iesu
Christe,
Domine Deus
Agnus Dei,
Filius Patris,
qui tollis peccata mundi, miserere nobis.
Nobis peccata mundi,
suscipe deprecationem
nostra.
Qui sedetis ad externa Patris,
Miserere nobis, omnium solus Sanctus,
tu solus animus,
tu solus Sanctissimus, Iesu Christe,
cum Sancto Spiritu, in gloria Dei Patris.
Amen. Dominus vobiscum,
Et cum spiritu tuo,
oremus. Lagere nobis quesumus Domine, semper spiritum cogitandi quer recta sum, propitius racemnio qui sinete, esse non possumus, secundum de vivere valeamus, per Dominum nostrum Iesum Christum, Filium Tuum, qui tecum dividat regnat in unitate Spiritus Sancti Deus, per omnia saecula saeculorum. Lessio epistolae Beati Pauli Apostoli ad Romanos. Fratres debitores sumus, non carni et secundum carnem vivamus. Si enim secundum carnem dexteritis moriemini, si autem spiritu falta carnis, mortifica veritis defectis, qui cum enim spiritu Dei aguntur, ei sunt filii Dei. Non enim accepisti spiritum servitutis iterum, in timore, sed accepisti spiritum adoptionis filiorum, in quo clamamus Abba Pater. Ipse enim spiritus testimonium redit spiritui nostro, quod sumus filii Dei. Si autem filii et heredes, Herredes quidem Dei, coeredes autem Christi. Est Domini Deus protectorem et
Est Domini Deus protectorem in loco refugii, ut salvum nefacias, Deus interperabis, Domine non confunda in aeternum. Alleluia, alleluia, Maius Dominus, et la nobilis Vale, in civitate Dei, in monte sancto eius, alleluia.
Dominus vobiscum,
Et cum spiritu tuo,
sequentia Sancti Evangelii, secundum Lucam.
gloria tibi, Domine.
In illo tempore dixit Iesus discipulis suis parabolam, homo qui relativas, qui abebat bellicum, edicti famatus est apud illum, quasi dissipasse bona ipsius. Et vocavit illum et ait illis, qui locadio de te, rederationem milicationis tue, iam illum non poteris bilicare. Aetatem bilicus intra se, quid faciam, quia Dominus meus habet, a me bilicationem. Fodere non valeo, mendicare rubesco. Cio quid faciam, ucumam motus fuero a villicatione, recipiant me in domo suo. Convocatis itaque singulis debitoribus Domini sui, diceva primo, quantum debes Domino meo. Ad ille dixit, centum cados olei. Disique illi, acci peccationem tuam, essere cito scribe quinquagenda. Denne ali dixit, tu vero quantum debes, qui ait centum corros tritici. Ait illi, accipe litteras tuas scribe octogenda. Ella David Dominus bilicum iniquitatis, quia prudenter vecisset, quia filius seculi, prudentiores filiis nucis, in generatione sua sunt. Ed ego vobis dico, facite vobis amicos de mammona iniquitatis, ucum defeceridis recipiam vos, in eterna tabernaculum. This is the 8th Sunday after Pentecost here in London, England. The epistles taken from St. Paul's letter to the Catholics in Rome, chapter 8. Brethren, we are debtors, not to the flesh, to live according to the flesh. But if you live according to the flesh, you shall die. But if by the Spirit you mortify the deeds of the flesh, you shall live. For whosoever are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God. For you have not received the spirit of bondage again in fear, but you have received the spirit of adoption of sons, whereby we cry, Abba, Father. For the Spirit himself giveth testimony to our spirit that we are the sons of God. And if sons, heirs also, heirs indeed of God, and joint heirs with Christ. The Holy Gospel. Taken from St. Luke chapter 16. At that time Jesus spoke to his disciples this parable. There was a certain man who had a steward, and the same was accused unto him that he had wasted his goods. And he called him and said to him, How is it that I hear this of thee? Give an account of thy stewardship, for now thou canst be steward no longer. And the steward said within himself, What shall I do? Because my Lord taketh away from me the stewardship. To dig I am not able, to beg I am ashamed. I know what I will do, that when I shall be removed from the stewardship, they may receive me into their houses. Therefore, calling together every one of his Lord's debtors, he said to the first, How much dost thou owe my Lord? But he said, 100 barrels of oil. And he said to him, Take thy bill and sit down quickly and write 50. Then he said to another, And how much dost thou owe? Who said, 100 quarters of wheat. He said to him, Take thy bill and write 80. And the Lord commended the unjust steward, for as much as he had done wisely. For the children of this world are wiser in their generation than the children of light. And I say to you, make unto you friends of the mammon of iniquity, that when you shall fail, they may receive you into everlasting dwellings. Thus are the words of the Holy Gospel. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost, amen. Yesterday we had the pilgrimage on bare feet for 1 mile to the shrine of Our Lady of Walsingham, where the huge monastery built in the early Middle Ages stood until it was razed to the ground by the Protestants. And then Henry VIII had the Blessed Virgin Mary brought back here to London, and in Chelsea was burned, executed. The execution of the Virgin Mary. It's hard to believe such an evil could really be done, but it was. And that's probably why England suffered so much punishment and blindness under the heresy of Lutheranism and Protestantism. But there are many prophecies that England will rise to the faith again, probably after the Pope consecrates Russia, which will open the floodgates of grace from heaven, which is the only way, not by human means, of a Vatican Council II and all these synods, but by the means that heaven gave, which is the Pope consecrating Russia with all the bishops. It's a very clear demand from heaven given to Sister Lucia. I think it was in 1929 was the actual date Our Lord asked this, Our Lady asked this of Sister Lucia, that the Pope consecrated Russia, 1929. So it's not been done. Of course, Pope Francis scorns Fatima, and the modernists hate Fatima. They hate it. They just hate it because everything about it is Catholic, which is pray the rosary, do penance, watch out, because sins will bring down chastisement from God for the whole earth. And Our Lady mentions whole nations being annihilated, and that's because of sins. Horrible sins that cry to heaven for vengeance. As you know, there are 4 sins that cry to heaven for vengeance, which are now the way of the modern world. Willful murder, abortion, and euthanasia, and killing people to get their organs. By defining death in the 1970s, they redefined death under a new definition, where if there's no brain activity on the outer levels, they're declared dead. That's dishonest. They're still breathing, the blood's still circulating, their digestive system is working. Even some mothers are with children and they have child in their womb, and they declare them dead, which justifies them to cut them open and take out the live heart, the live lungs, the live liver. And obviously there's certain organs you can live without. You can live with 1 kidney or 1 eyeball. And those you may donate, that's okay. But you cannot donate vital organs. This is immoral, it's gravely sinful. The Pope should condemn this, but they're silent. The bishops are silent too, because it's a billion dollar business. It's a huge business. And it's raking it on that willful murder, which draws down vengeance from God. The second one is sodomy. That's an obvious one. And the raising of the rainbow flag everywhere throughout the world. This calls down fire from heaven and offends him. And their agenda is to distort, pervert, and attack the little ones. And you know what Christ says about horrible is the punishment for those who scandalize, that is, lead into sin the little ones. And their whole agenda is attacking the little children, pervert them at a young age. And there's going to be millions and millions of millstones dragging souls to the depths of hell, including Catholic politicians like Andrew Cuomo in the United States and New York, who passed the abortion law. And then Cardinal Dolan of New York City is going to also have a millstone around his neck for not excommunicating him. And then it's going to go to the Pope, because the Pope should be punishing his bishops for not punishing these Catholic politicians. So you see everywhere across the board, it's a jellyfish silence. It's a cowardly cooperation with evil. Sodomy, willful murder, sodomy, and then oppression of the poor, the average business, and then robbing workers of their lawful wages. These sins cry to heaven for vengeance. So yesterday's pilgrimage was hopefully to make some reparation. And today after Mass, we're going to redo the consecration in a simple way to the Sacred Heart of Jesus and the Immaculate Heart of Mary. And consecrate your country, consecrate your families, consecrate yourselves, consecrate everything you have and do to the Sacred Heart of Jesus and the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Let us look at this great saint today, Saint Dominic. He really was a champion of the Holy Faith, and his great weapon was the rosary. And the Virgin Mary gave him the rosary. It was a weapon from heaven. It's a 59-bullet machine gun. You can count the beads. 59 bullets on it. You should always have it with you. And just having it around your neck or in your pocket and in your hand, that also gives graces. Just carrying the rosary gives graces. That's the power of this weapon. And there's even more when you pray it. And I think the popes, there's over like 12 to 15 encyclicals by the good popes praising and endorsing the rosary. And then, of course, the countless miracles through the rosary. Let's look at a few. Firstly, St. Dominic's mother. She must have been a very special woman. And they lived in Spain. St. Dominic was born in 1170. The mother was Blessed Joan of Asa. She's a blessed, A-Z-A, from the Guzman.